Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl Brandy Yvonne. Here at my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of some of our favorite cool shows we are into right now. Tonight, we are talking about Ready to Love. This is season 5, episode 6, The Backup Plan. Actually, I know it's not night, it's like daytime still. And I am doing this video Saturday instead of Friday night. Friday night I had a bonding night with, I'm a club advisor at the high school I work at, and we were having a bonding night with the girls, and so that's why I didn't do the video Friday night. I got home at a good time, watched Ready to Love and Ladies Who List, but I was really tired, and I didn't want to have low energy in my reviews, so I said, why not wait till Saturday after I've worked out and everything and have a little more pep in my step, right? Okay, before we get started, please click the like button, click the share button, click the subscribe button, comment, but most importantly, subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything over here to subscribe, just a click, and that's all it costs. Okay, so let's get into the episode, Ready to Love. First off, I'm confused by some of y'all on this show because you saying these people are your connections, but that they're not really your connections, but then you telling the other person they're your connections. Some people aren't making sense this season. They're not making sense, but let's just get into the episode. So we start off at the gentleman's lounge. Donovan says this is his first gentleman's lounge, so, he's excited going into it. Tommy's talking about he heard about things going on down to the lake house and some truth to dare and some this and some that. So he said, okay, what if your cement is not right, your foundation crack, you don't want to get air in the cement, something he was talking about anyway. Basically, if everything falls apart, what is your plan B? Who's your second choice, basically? Your girlfriend number 2. So basically, that he wants the gentleman to take out the lady who is consider their second choice. So Tori over there takes a drink and he's like, I didn't have a backup plan, so I don't really know what I'm about to do. And I'm like, oh, Tori, that's the problem. Tori, that's the problem. You're putting all your eggs in the Sabrina basket, which is not a safe basket to put all your eggs in. I'd rather him have put all his eggs into the Ace basket if he was going to do anybody. Anyway, and I thought Ace would be Tori's backup plan because I thought they had a connection. Anyway, Clifton in his confessional says he got this from here. Takiyah has always been a second choice for him, even though Joy is still at the top of his heart, but he is still attracted to Takiyah. His problem with her has been that she still gives that 9 to 5 vibe, and he wants to see if he can kind of get her to loosen it up, right? So anyway, then we see some dates happening. We see Carmen and Eric go on a date, and Eric says that, Takiyah is his number 1, but he's glad to have this date with Carmen to, explore his other options and see if there's, some kind of connection they can build there. Then also we see Demetrius and Tina go on a date. So let's just talk Eric and Carmen. So Eric, be careful, brother. Be careful, because you're over there telling Takiyah she's number 1. In the kitchen, you letting Carmen strong arm you into saying you her number 1. Then you're on the date and you're talking to Carmen, and you're also continually implying to her that she's your number 1, even though she's being taken out on this number 2 date. And I'm curious to know if Carmen knows that she is on this number 2 date. Because then that is showing that Eric don't see you as number 1 girl. But anyway, so Carmen's asking, Eric about his other connections. He talks about his date with Takiyah and him and Takiyah vibe, and they kissed, and she was like, no, I get it. You got to go through the process. And Eric is saying, it's kind of unfair because we already know each other. We already have this attraction to each other. And so they're making all these sexual innuendo jokes, and they're, giggling and laughing at the table. He has something on his face. She wiped it off, and she was like, it's good to go explore your other options. And she's like, I'm not surprised that, Takiyah kissed him because, she's desperate. I'm like, Carmen, if you don't quit tearing that lady down, stop it now. And so then, I do like Carmen though, because she's a man eater. She gonna eat Eric alive. He is not strong enough for her, in my opinion. I mean, they'll be a cute couple, but she will eat him up. No. She will be wearing the pants in that relationship for sure. So anyway, she's like, have your fun, but go ahead and give them ladies their eviction notice, they walking papers, because this is number one right here. And so he didn't stop her from saying that. So I'm about to see some drama in the land. And already we see that there was a situation between Eric and Takiyah. And we're not going to know what exactly happened, I guess, until next week. But anyway, we'll talk about that more at the end of the episode. So then, we see, let's go to Demetrius and Tina. So Demetrius and Tina are on their date. Tina had curly, crinkly hair, which to me looked her straight hair looks cute on her too, but the curly hair helped her look more 31. Okay. So anyway, Demetrius and Tina's like, happy to be on this date with you. Demetrius like, yeah, I saw you at the lake house and, I thought you looked good and all this stuff. And she was like, oh, really? Because you didn't say anything to me. You didn't say hi to me. And, you're kissing and nibbling on people at the table. But then you're getting googly eyes across the table. And so I didn't think you were interested. And then he's like, oh, no, I'm interested and da-da-da. And Tina's like, I like to date with discernment. So that's why I'm asking him these questions. And she's like, you're giving off a player vibe. And I'm not sure if you're really, ready to be in something serious. And he's like, well, I got to be a player. And he goes to explain his journey of his divorce and going through counseling and figuring out his faults and figuring out how to deal with his emotions much better, which I feel all men need to do that, okay? And I'm talking from recent experience, y'all. But anyway, so they kind of, get into this serious talk, and Tina does like what he says, and she's like, I know I went a little hard on him, but, I like to date, with intention and have discernment and all this. So they seem like they could possibly work some things out and have a connection. We'll see. Tina feels like Demetrius is her type, and Demetrius feels like Tina is his type. I don't know if I see a connection between Demetrius and Tina. Maybe. I feel like Tina was going a bit hard if she hadn't really spent time with Demetrius, but maybe she's also like, okay, why are you taking me on this date number 2 if you didn't even talk to me? So I could kind of see it from both sides. So anyway, moving on, then we see Mr. Donovan. Donovan said, I'm new to the process, so I got to get in here and get it popping. He's not going to sit back and waste no time. I guess he has the producers for all the dates, because we see him going on a date with Carmen, Takiyah, and Sabrina, okay? So him and Sabrina have a really good connection because they're both born and raised here in Cali. I'm dying to know which part because I'm a Northern Cali girl. Anyway, so they really hit it off on that Cali connection and talking about different things, how Sabrina wants kids and she's okay with the fact that he has kids, and she felt like, he was really in her head and she could feel herself being with him. I actually would love to see Sabrina and Donovan work out. I think that he's mature enough for her, not overly mature like a Paul, and he knows how to have a little fun too. So I like that connection for them. She was sending her confessions oh, I would have sex with him right now. Let me go home. If I had too many drinks, I was like, girl, you better go on home, Sabrina, girl, go on home. Don't have no more drinks, girl. But anyway, but Donovan's cute. I don't like the nose ring, but he's cute. Then we saw him on his date with Carmen. It was Carmen's birthday. He got her a little birthday treat. Well, they brought her a little something to the table, and she was saying, she's very competitive. She would play him on some one-on-one, and they're having her talking and flirting. Maybe I could see them being together. I think her being too dominant could be a problem for a guy like Donovan. I don't think he would put up with some of the stuff that Eric may put up from her. So we'll see. And in his date with Takiyah is talking about how she's an engineer, but she's also a dance teacher. And she's asking Donovan about, himself. He kind of sounds like he's on an interview. But then he does explain his love languages are affirmations and physical touch. And Takiyah did that. Takiyah really knows how to give and take and kind of play the game and flirt really well. And so they seem to have a good connection too. I don't know if I see it for them. Maybe a Takiyah and Donovan could work out. Maybe. Okay, so then we had those 3 dates. So then we saw Clifton on his date with Takiyah. And he had some wine there that she likes. And the kid looked really, really pretty with that hair pulled back. And I think she's wearing pink or something. She looks really pretty like that. So anyway, he was like, oh, I went to your house with the key and got the wine at your wine cellar. They're making a joke. And so then he had some, he's like, I got some aphrodisiacs here. I got some oysters or mussels, whatever he had, y'all. And she's like, I don't really like those. And he's like, just try one. You like spicy? So he's like, I'm going to try the smallest one. And he was like, are you worried you're going to throw up or something? And she's like, oh, no, I got good gag reflexes. And then he was like, And I'm like, oh, Takiyah, girl, you got the gag reflexes on lock, girl. Give me the tips, because I don't got them on lock like that. But anyway, I'm just joking around. Y'all don't be in my business like that. So anyway, he fed her the seafood, and she was good with it. And she was like, oh, you just want to put something in my mouth, huh? And they laughed. So they still have all their little sexual jokes and whatever. And she tells him how he teaches dance class, and she teaches dance class, and she makes her own shirts for the class. And she said she'd make him a shirt that said Big Daddy, and her one that say Little Mama, and they could wear them and all that. I mean, the Takiyah costume would be cute, but our hearts are always gonna be on Clifton and Joy. I'm sorry, Takiyah. I'm sorry, girl. I don't know what you're gonna do at this point, girl. So anyway, Clifton got to see more of a loosened up version of Takiyah, and that's what he wanted to see on that date. Across the other side of town, we see Joy and Paul on a date. I don't know why Paul chose Joy for this second planned date. I didn't quite get it. When was Joy ever an option for Paul? That's what was confusing me on this whole episode, y'all. Like, some of these people y'all chose the second dates, when was they your option? When? So I don't know who Paul would have chose. Maybe Takiyah. It would have made more sense to me if he would have chosen Takiyah for his second date. Or even or Carmen. Carmen should have been his second date, right? Because he likes Tina, but he also likes Carmen, I thought. I don't know. It made no sense to me. Anyway, so Joy and Paul on a date. Joy already lets it be known this is platonic for her. She doesn't feel Paul like that. I don't blame her, because Paul gives Uncle vibes. He's Uncle P.O. And that's what he's always going to be. He's a nice man, though, and he has a lot going for himself. But he's just too old for my taste and for most of those ladies' taste. So anyway, Paul, I'm surprised is still on the show, to be honest. But I think Paul is ready for love. I will say, I think Paul is ready for love. So anyway, they're talking, and he's like, I saw, you made it be known when you did what made you so bold to give Clifton that kiss at the table? And she was like, well, it wasn't that I was bold. She's like, I've been dying to kiss this man for a long time, so I went for it. And she's like, I let it be known. And she was like, yeah, you might have broke a few hearts there. And Joy's feeling like she's basically at the point where she's tired of kind of playing this ready for love game and seeing what all the options are. She's ready to lock in on Clifton for good now and move forward in the process that way. And we are getting to that part of the process. So Joy's tired. She's tired of all the questions. She's tired. And I get that. I mean, maybe, is she too soon to be tired? Y'all let me know in the comments. Part of me is like, Joy, I think Joy better just stay a little bit open, girl, because you don't want Clifton to flip the switch on you at the end, because I don't want this Clifton and Joy phenomenon to be too true. Like, I don't need you to be like a Camille and Cornelius, or you're just locking it down and ain't nobody coming in, throw away the key. But at the same time, like, you don't need to be playing them games, breaking hearts. Just leave yourself, like, leave the door slightly open, Joy, slightly open. But I get Joy's point too. Like, at this point, we tied. This episode 6, we tied, y'all. We ready to just lock it down, say we ready to love it or not. So anyway, Paul's like, unfortunately with Joy, it's just gonna be friends, because she seems to be locked in with Clifton, and that's what it is. Okay, moving on. So then we see, who did we see on the date next? Oh, let's get to Precious and Tori, y'all. Oh, and then we gotta get to Ace and Laverne, okay? And then I think we can get to Eliminations after that. I'm trying to make sure I didn't forget nothing and keep it in somewhat of an order. Y'all know how I like to do. So anyway, okay, so Precious and Tori on this date, because Tori and Precious, they connected on the very first episode. They had a really good talk about their moms, and we haven't seen them together anymore after that. So they went on this date, and Tori's making all these sexual jokes. And then, this episode really made me dislike Tori a little bit. He came across really, really weird to me. His energy was really weird to me with this date with Precious. Like, almost like he forced it. And I'd rather his second plan have been Ace, like I said. excuse me, because you haven't, Tori, made any more connection with Precious since day one. But we've seen you make connection with Ace. So why wasn't Ace part of your backup plan? It made no sense. This whole episode made no sense, y'all. So anyway, he's like, oh yeah, the seat's mine when you sat down. She's like, did it? I'm like, oh, y'all corny. So anyway, he's like, let's take a shot. And, you know, he's asking her, you know, what you been up to, you know, and they're talking about how they connected on the first day. And sometimes they got to say the best for last. And he's talking about, you know, the man touching, he's talking about his kidney touching again. He's just going all these sexual innuendos. And you know, even Precious is getting uncomfortable. And Precious is like, okay, Tori, be good. You know, she's like, oh, so you the kidney snatcher. And you know, like, girl, you know he was the one touching the kidneys, girl. So anyway, and then Precious is like, you know, the thing for me and you, Tori asked, you know, what makes you really tick? And she's like, why you want to know that so you can do it? And then he's like, maybe. And then she's like, see? And she was like, well, the thing with me and you is like, are we just going to be good with being like friends or sex buddies or more? And he's like, well, I could see, you know, if we're just sex buddies, that would get old. And then he was like, okay, let's switch gears. Let's get to deeper conversation. So she asked him something, or he asked her something, and he's like, you know what, let's get another shot. And I just thought that was like, wow, like you can't even have a deeper conversation with this lady. And that's my thing with the men. Your guys are saying Precious is this and that. Oh, she's a party girl, or she's no substance. But look at y'all. Y'all are no substance. Look at y'all. And maybe it's just Tori, and I'm making Tori represent the whole group at this point. But still, I don't like all that. Like, keep the same energy. So anyway, next thing we know, Tori told Precious she had a little something on her lip, and then he did this forced, looked like it was trying to be cute and romantic, but it just looked forced to me, y'all. Kiss of her, and Precious kind of was taken aback, and he was like, yeah, you know, in his confession, it sounded so stupid to me, talking about, yeah, you know, the kiss with Precious just happened, you know, it just kind of happened, you know, spontaneously, and, you know, that's just what da-da-da. Like, I'm like, Negro, you forced that kiss on that girl. That was not no spontaneous. And I feel like he kissed her to see if he would have a spark with her. That's why. And because he wanted to and he felt like he could. And I felt like Tori maybe was playing off of what the men been saying about Precious and kind of like, oh, I'm going to see what I can get out of Precious. That's a little bit, I don't know, I just got a real creepy, weird vibe from Tori on this date. And then his confessionals, he was like, oh, you know, Precious, you know, I don't really see us going anywhere like that, and Sabrina's still my number one, so da-da-da. I was like, you didn't even try. Like, I'm like, you didn't even try when it came to Precious' story. And I could have seen y'all working out from the beginning when y'all first connected, but now, no. Precious man ain't on this show, to be honest. But I'm like, Tori just made me feel weird. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think of Tori at this point in this Tori and Precious date, because I was uncomfortable for Precious. I was very uncomfortable for Precious, okay? I was more comfortable than that part look on her hair, okay? And speaking of Precious and that part, I know y'all keep getting on this girl on Twitter about this part. You know, maybe we could try some different styles, Precious. I would love to see Precious with a bob. A straight bob. Oh, that would look cute, girl. With part down the middle. We don't need a part way over here. Like, if we're going to talk about Precious' part, let's figure out how ways we can help her. We can send her some YouTube videos. Because I like Precious. Precious is, like, close to my age. I like Precious. I would hang with Precious. Precious is beautiful. I want to help Precious. We don't want to hurt Precious, okay? Anyway, let's move on to Laverne and Ace. So, another puzzling second playing date for me. Laverne says, you know, Joyce is, you know, she's in my top, and she's like the female version of me, and we have a really good connection. But, you know, I also had this connection with Ace, so I'm taking her out tonight. Mind you, every time in Deliberations, not every time, but the last time, Laverne said Ace is his top. Ace is his number one. So how did Ace become number two when you just said she was your number one? Like, it's not making any sense. And you swear you have the strongest connection with Joy, and Joy has always been Team Clifton number one. So, I mean, I can see Laverne and Joy did have a great time and great chemistry, though. I'm giving Laverne that. But, boo, how was she your number one this whole time when you just said Ace your number one and Clifton was her number one? So how? It's like somebody say they number one, but then that person's number two. Like, it's just not, it's just not adding up. So anyway, but I guess that's how ready love go, right? So anyway, he take Ace on a date, and he bought her some kind of skin cream and rubbed it on her arm and put her napkin in her lap and all that. He's just doing extra, in my opinion. I don't like Laverne, and I just don't know if I ever will, y'all. And so he's like, I think we have to. So Ace is like, when are we going to where we're gonna like lock some connections down and move forward in that way? So I think everyone's kind of like, okay, we need to get to that point where we're locking it down. So Ace asks Laverne that. Laverne's like, go ahead, tell the other men. This is boo right here. We each other's number one, basically. And he talking about what he gonna get her for Christmas, and they talking about Christmas trees and all that. I'm just like, Ace, keep your eyes and ears open, girl. Please beware. Like, don't go to sleep, Ace. See, because Ace kind of be too laid back, and I can be like that sometimes, relationships where like I'm not tripping on stuff, and I'm just need her to keep her eyes. I just need you to be alert, sober-minded, Ace. Alert and sober-minded. So anyway, I'm not saying she not sober. Okay, I'm not trying to imply nothing weird like that. I'm just saying, like, be a little grounded, Ace. Be a little grounded, okay? So anyway, I think we got through all the dates, y'all. I'll make sure I didn't miss nobody. Let me think. Let's see, Donovan went out with Carmen. Yeah, we got to everybody. So anyway, wait, didn't Carmen have one more date, y'all? Did she? No. Oh, side note, speaking of Carmen, Clifton was not Carmen's backup plan. I mean, Carmen was not Clifton's backup plan. So I was really shocked by that. Carmen was not his number 2 date. He chose Takiyah. So there's that, right? Okay, so let's get down to the Deliberations. So the men come back to the gentleman's lounge, and they're talking about who they went on a date with. Clifton said he saw a different side of Takiyah. Eric, he talked about his connection with Carmen because they already knew each other, and Carmen definitely shifted his focus off of Takiyah, and I think that was Carmen's plan this whole time. I know, y'all, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I started thinking today before I did this review. Very, very interesting that Carmen and Eric already knew each other, and they came on later in the show as blind dates. Weren't they like the second to the last 2 people? I think Donovan and Tina were the last 2 added, but before that, Carmen and Eric came as blind dates, right? Isn't it funny that they already have a history and they both came on the show later? Like, did they both decide to come on the show to play a game? I'm just wondering. Did they, is this just all coincidence? I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but I had to thought. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. So anyway, the tops, Demetrius, he went on his date with Tina, all that, but still says Sabrina is number 1. Tori still says Sabrina is his number 1. Clifton still says Joyce is number 1, but he definitely saw a different side of Takiyah that he liked. So Clifton is keeping his options open pretty much. And so Paul still feels like Tina is his number 1. Laverne said he thought Joy could be his number 1, but now Ace for sure. He's locking it down with Ace. Ace is solid for him. Okay. And then we had Eric. He said Carmen shifted his focus and all that. Donovan really likes he likes Tina, and he likes Sabrina. Could be a good fit for him as well. I can't remember if Donovan named Takiyah or not. Anyway, he felt like he could have a good time with Carmen also. So then Laverne is like, Ace, I could build a life with her. I'm ready to lock it down with her. She could be wifey to die, knifey Tommy, as he always telling her, like, slow it down, player, slow it down. So he's like, you doing all that already, Laverne? Like, okay. And so then he was like, yeah, and he's like, I'm just a little bit of advice to the men, just a little advice, Don't be afraid to say who your number 1 is and who you want to be with and who you want to lock it down with. Like, don't worry about me or Clifton or this one or that one. Like, don't be afraid. Just go ahead and lock it down. So then the men kind of look at him like, nigga, who are you? Who are you? Like, they basically, the advice is not needed. Like, the men already know to do that. No one's playing games there but you, Laverne. So it's kind of weird that you're even giving this weird speech and piping up all like that, because we didn't need that speech from you, Laverne. You the one that need to figure it out. Because the ladies have issues with you. And a little bit of Demetrius, but mainly you. So anyway, Demetrius is like, okay, brother, like, I didn't, like, what is you talking about? I didn't need all that. And so he kind of interrupted Laverne, and Laverne's like, oh, no, I'll interrupt you when you speaking. I'll interrupt you when you speaking. And I'm like, Laverne, are you here to make a reality show? Because what are you doing? The men don't argue like that. Are we in the ladies' lounge or the men's lounge? I didn't know. So, and Eric's like, kind of like, thank you, but no thank you. Clifton kind of looking like, no. And Donovan makes a good point in his confessional, like, I just got here, so I'm not about to let Laverne try to tell me I need to lock it down when I'm still getting to know the ladies. And I don't blame Donovan. Like, he can't really lock it down right now. He don't hardly know people. He's only went on that's why he got busy on the dates in this episode, because he got to hurry up. It's kind of like last season when Sean came in, and it was like just when he was trying to make traction, already they're doing friends and family dates. And then he gets eliminated because he said the wrong thing when he didn't even know Sabrina well enough to be meeting her people. You get what I'm saying? So that's why it kind of is not the smartest way they do it to bring people in late like that. Like, they kind of should have stopped a week ahead with the blind dates. Like, the blind dates concept was funny and cute, but they kept it going way too long, because like Donovan is basically about to be in the same situation Sean was last season, where you're kind of scrambling and people are trying to now start locking it down, but you're still getting to know people. And then they're going to put you in these friends and family dates and ex dates, as we see next week, and you don't even know the person you try to get to know that well, and then you got to meet they ex. Like, it makes no sense, and it's kind of unfair, in my opinion. Ready to love own people, but I'm not, rider runner of the show. I'm not Will Packer or nobody, but that's just my soapbox. Okay. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. So anyway, then they say, okay, Tommy goes, okay, who do we not like? We got to start weeding people out. So who's in the bottom? Precious, of course, is named in the bottom. Sabrina was named in the bottom by, like, I think Paul and Laverne, I believe. And Joy ends up being named in the bottom by Paul. And Eric felt like a friend vibe from Joy. So Joy's name got brought up a few times. I think just as a friend vibe, Tori said the same thing. I think Tori also named Precious in the bottom as well, which is very interesting. Carmen's name might have came up by like one person also. So in the bottom we have Precious and Joy. I'm very kind of shocked to see Joy in the bottom. Some people weren't shocked. I noticed on Twitter. I could see kind of why, because they're not feeling like, oh, well, you locking it down with Clifton. They're taking her doing that kiss, like, oh, you locking it down with Clifton. And I just feel like men are very unfair to women. That's just kind of how I'm feeling. But anyway, okay, so let's get to the dates, a little bubble date. So Precious, Clifton takes Precious on a date. And Precious is like, I never had this one-on-one time with Clifton, so I'm kind of excited. But at the same time, I'm like, what's really going on here? So Precious is kind of on guard, on notice, like, this could be elimination date. Joy, however, Joy didn't see her date coming. I said, Joy, girl. So Demetrius took Joy on a date. Demetrius swear he loved to eliminate the women. He really do. So anyway, Demetrius took Joy on a date, and she's like, wow, she's like, I'm not sure why we're on a date with Demetrius. Like, he's never showed interest in me. Like, there's no connection for me there. So I don't get it. And I think Joy's one of those ladies, like, she didn't see all the hype of Demetrius like the other ladies seen. I never saw the hype for Demetrius either. I still don't see it. Like, yeah, he has that certain suave debonair thing to him, but still, not my type. I don't see all the goo goo gaga that some of the ladies are seeing, like Sabrina. I don't get it. So anyway, and to me, he doesn't seem like a nice person, in my opinion. But we don't really know him well, and I don't want to judge him. So anyway, Joy is like, I'm not sure over here. Like, we never really spent time together. You never showed that you were interested. And he was like, could there possibly be a connection between us or something? And she was like, well, I don't really see that. And he was like, so the men, we got together. Joy's like, oh, let me take a drink, honey, before you start talking. So then he went on, and she was like, before he even got to go on to, so he would say, the men feel like you have connected more with Clifton, and you locking it down with Clifton, and you're not really interested in the meeting other people and all this stuff. And so then Joy flipped the script on him. I was cracking up. Joy said, well, I feel like you are not really here for love. Like, you're just here to play games. She's like, are you truly interested in anybody here? And then he kind of was like, wait a minute, like, she not even listening to anything I say. And she said that he feels like he's starting mess. And he said that, well, I feel like she's starting mess right here because she ain't even listening to me. And so basically it looked like Joy was for to eliminate Demetrius, even though she was there for the bubble date. I was like, Joy, how you gonna flip the script on Demetrius? But he deserved it, in my opinion. So go on, Joy. So then he's like, well, yeah, I really do have connections. Like, yeah, I'm here. And so then he told her, well, the men decide that you are not ready to go home yet. Okay, so then she was like, oh, like, ooh, thank you. Okay. So I'm like, Joy, I don't know how you didn't know this was a possible elimination date, girl, but I see it. I see it. It's all good, Joy. You still staying. Joy is ready to love. She's ready to love Clifton, and that's okay. It's like, dang. But she got to leave herself open a little bit. I get it, y'all. So then let's go on to Precious and Clifton, right? So Precious, like Clifton is like, the men feel like you're a party girl. Peaches Precious is like, oh, that is a narrative being promoted by one person. I do not appreciate that. Clifton was like, oh, wow. So then he was like, da da da, and Precious is like, people got to get to know the real me and all this stuff. And so Clifton basically said, you're not ready to love. Your time here has ended. And then she was like, okay, I respect that. She feels like it's the wrong decision made, but she respects that. And she told Clifton, like, I appreciate you, like, being there for me in this process. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm not going anywhere. And they like walk off together. Clifton did it so well and smoothly and really heard her side of things, and really supported her in that process of that elimination. And I really like the way Clifton handled it. Didn't care for Demetrius' tact, never cared for Paul's tact either, but Clifton has really, really good tact and really handled Precious in a very, very nice way. So then we see the ladies get together in the wine lounge with nephew Tommy, and they're like, oh, how's everybody doing? This week the women have power to eliminate. You're gonna take the guys out, to meet your exes. So he's like asking girls how they're doing. Takiyah's like, I'm not doing good. You could tell she looks pissed. She said her and Eric had a situation, and she wishes not to see Eric anymore. He needs to do some self-reflecting and growth on his own. And so everybody's kind of looking like, ooh, what is the tea here? What is the tea, right? And so then Carmen's in the confessional like, I need to know exactly what happened. Like, because, just last week we saw this girl was all over him and everybody could see it. So what's really going on here? So they cut the episode there. We don't get to hear what happened between Takiyah and Eric yet. We probably will hear it next episode. I pray to God it's not another Shiloh and Phil situation. Please don't be another Shiloh and Phil situation. Where people are hanging out off camera and situations are happening. Please, y'all. That left us a thorn from last season. Like, I feel bad for Shiloh. I also felt bad for Phil because I didn't want a domestic violence narrative painted about him, because that's not what I don't think his intentions were, in my opinion. Phil seems like a gentle giant to me. But Shiloh definitely have been through some things and needed some healing as well. And her feelings and emotions are valid also and deserve to be respected. So they were in a rock and a hard place, that Phil and Shiloh. But I pray that this Takiyah and Eric situation is not the same. We see in the previews that Eric goes to talk to nephew Tommy, and he's like, I don't want to be here hurting anybody. So, oh, Lord, y'all. Every season do we got to have a situation, y'all. Why? This DC and Potomac, something wrong in that water out there. Something is wrong. But anyway, I'm going to get off of here. We'll definitely do Ladies Who List Atlanta tonight, hopefully. I'm excited to wrap that show up too, y'all. Ready to Love, we got more Love and Marriage Huntsville, I believe starts next week, if I'm not mistaken. So I will be reviewing that. I'm going to be on vacation the next couple weeks, so got to figure out my recording schedule, but it might be late, but they'll be there, okay? Anyway, please comment, like, subscribe, and share. I'm Brady Yvonne, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.